Hi everyone, this is Lin from SOFATblog, and today I'm really excited to show you guys a noodle dish called zhajiang. My high school friends tonight are hosting a potluck, and the theme is gonna be foods that come from cans and jars. And so I think a lot of people are probably going to use Spam, and I think that it's gonna be a really great idea if I showcase some of our Taiwanese sauces that come from cans and jars. So in zhajiang, there are 3 different components. Of course, there are the noodles, and you can use any kind of noodles. The kind that I picked up is a dry noodle from our local Asian grocery stores, and I picked this one up because it was on sale and because it has a giant red Taiwan on it. But you can use anything. You can even use your spaghetti or fettuccine right from your own kitchen. Of course, to the zhajiang, we're gonna make a sauce as well, and in the sauce we're going to use a base of sweet bean paste or sweet bean sauce. Here we have a number of different Taiwanese brands. We have Xingdongyang here, of course, which is a very famous Taiwanese brand, but what we're going to use are these 2 cans here in the blue. This is what producer Christina prefers at her own kitchen, and so it says Szechuan on top because it has a little bit of that spiciness flavor, and we like that a lot, so we're going to use that. So right here is our jiang, or sweet bean paste. We also are going to add a little bit of jiang, which is hot bean paste, and it just gives it a nice little kick to it. Of course, to the sauce we're going to add some ground pork. We're also going to add bean curd, which is firm and dried tofu, and it looks just like these little cubes of brown, I don't know, dry tofu when it comes straight out of the package, and after you dice it up it ends up looking like this. We're going to add also some shelled edamame, some fresh or minced garlic, along with some salt to taste, and of course we have to have a topping just for some extra crunch and freshness. We have some shredded cucumber, some shredded carrots, and of course blanched soybean sprouts, and that goes on top of the noodles. Just a few ingredients more. Right over here we have light soy sauce and a Taiwanese rice wine, cooking wine called Minced, and you can find that at your local Asian grocery store as well. So we have all of our ingredients set up, and if you guys are ready, I'm excited. Let's get started. Alright guys, so let's get started. We already have some oil and minced garlic in our pan on medium-high heat. When you hear the sizzle, that's when you know the oil is hot enough, and that's when you're going to get ready to add our ground meat. We're going to add all of our ground pork in there. I'm going to make sure to mince up all of the meat so it's kind of ready for our sauce. We still have our heat on medium-high, so we're going to continue cooking the pork until it's brown. If you guys don't like pork, you can also use ground chicken instead, or even ground turkey. To our ground pork though, while it's still cooking away and while we're still mincing, the first thing we're going to add is some light soy sauce, and we're going to use maybe about, I would say, a full teaspoon of light soy sauce, and we don't want too much because the sweet bean paste and the hot bean paste already has a good enough of saltiness to it. Alright. This is really going to help the meat brown, and it's going to infuse the flavor straight up into the pork. But to this, we're also going to add some of the Taiwanese cooking wine or rice wine, Minced. And just remember, this is a cooking wine and not something that you're going to take shots of. That's not too good for you. You're going to probably land yourself into the hospital. We're going to add about 2 tablespoons of this. Just make sure when you're adding alcohol into a pot that's cooking over a flame to remove it from the heat before you add it on, just in case it lights up on fire. Alright, we're going to add this and let it simmer away until all the alcohol has evaporated, and that just takes a couple of minutes right there. Alright guys, so it's been a couple of minutes and our Taiwanese cooking wine has already evaporated. You can see that our ground pork is still a little bit pink. It's not cooked all the way through, and that's great because we're now going to continue on our cooking process. We're going to add an entire full can of our sweet bean sauce or sweet bean paste. It looks a little bit ooey and gooey and scary right now, but it actually tastes really, really good at the very, very end of our cooking process. All right, to this, we're also going to add our hot bean paste as well. I'm gonna add it in all together, and then we're gonna continue taking this and stirring it and folding the ground pork in with our 2 different sauces and 2 different pastes. It should already be quite salty, but if it's not, you can go ahead and add a little pinch of salt, or if it's too thick, you can also add a little bit of water just to thin out the sauce as well. Guys, so we put our 2 different sauces in with our ground pork and we kind of folded it together. We actually tasted it. It was a little bit on the salty side, so we added a little bit of water just to thin it out. It's now been simmering a little bit, so we're gonna add the rest of our ingredients. The first thing we're gonna add now is our bean curd. In Mandarin Chinese, we call this dou gan. All right, so the whole thing goes in. Alright, and our next item is going to be our shelled edamame. We actually have this already cooked. It's been blanched just a little bit. I'm going to add the rest of that in there. If you guys like zucchini or other vegetables, now would be a great time to throw that in there. I know my mom loves to put carrots at this time, but we're going to leave that out for right now. We're going to mix this all together, fold it in, and let it simmer for just a little bit longer. Alright, so we tasted our zhajiang sauce, and it was a little bit salty, so we grabbed a little bit of this Huang Bing Tang right over here. This is our saving grace in Taiwanese cooking. Whenever something's a little bit too salty or a little bit too spicy, we grab a few drops of these. It kind of looks like crystallized sugar, a little bit of yellow kryptonite, if you will, and we're going to throw it into our sauce. And while we're at it, we can pop a few into our mouth. And sometimes the rock sugar comes in really big chunks, so you need to break it apart just a little bit. I heard a little bit of whacking in the kitchen earlier. I thought it was producer Christina beating her husband, but she was really just getting the rock sugar ready for us here. So I'm going to throw a few of those drops in here, let it melt away. It should take away all that extra saltiness that's in the sauce, and we're just going to let this simmer just a little bit more, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, until everything kind of softens up and you make sure your ground pork is cooked. This looks about done. It's been about 10 to 15 minutes. Everything has been completely simmered and cooked all the way through. We're going to turn our fire and our heat off right now. And we have our noodles already cooked. You can just follow the package on the back of the box. Really simple, easy instructions. Literally like 2 steps. Boil water, drop noodles in. Alright, so now that we have our sauce on top of our noodles, we got some fresh vegetables on top, some cucumbers, carrots, and soybean sprouts. Just gonna mix it all together really well until all of the sauce covers all the noodles. I really like how that we have some fresh vegetables on here, because it's gonna give the noodles a nice fresh and light taste. And we're just gonna take a nice big bite of our zhajiang mian. Really great. I think my friends are gonna really love it at the potluck tonight. So until next time, let's all get so fat.
强强迎风的雏菊，茉莉花开的香气，闭上眼回到过去，划分界限的周。
Hi everyone, today I'm really excited to show you a dish, a noodle dish called zhajiang mian. And oh, it's hot. We're gonna add a little bit of minced garlic. Make sure that it's hot enough so that you hear that sizzling sound when you put the garlic in to the sauce. I'm fucking burning. zhajiang sauce, and we realized that it's a little bit salty, and so we're gonna add a little. Really good. Really hot.